Today I fucked up by bringing too much beer to a work party. 2 facts about me that are important to this story. 1. I was raised by an alcoholic, and 2. I don't drink alcohol. Last week, my boss asked me to pick up alcohol for a department party. I told her that I might be the wrong person to ask since I don't drink and hence don't know what people typically like or how much to get. She told me to just get whatever, it'll be fine, and she gave me the corporate credit card. So, I tried to think back to my childhood because I don't drink. I never hung out at bars in college and the only measure I had regarding how much people drink was based on my dad. I remembered that it was usually by beer number 6 that dad turned into a pretty cheerful guy. This was so prevalent in my life that my brother and I called it the 6 beer smile. Note, my dad would not always stop at 6. He would sometimes drink 10 or more a day, so I thought, well, dad drank a lot so I think we'll be fine with 5 bottles of beer per person since that's just one shy of a smile. I called my older brother to double check if 5 beers per person would be a sufficient amount of alcohol for a work party and he agreed, yeah, that sounds about right. The department has 40 people so I ended up picking up about 34 6-packs. I got a variety because why not, and yeah, it cost a lot but this company wastes money on plenty of other things so I just assumed this was just the cost of a party with alcohol. I loaded up my car, it took a long time, drove to work and then carried everything to the large conference room that was reserved for the party. The party was yesterday evening. I really only stuck around for a little bit, made appearances to wave hi and say something to the higher-ups so they knew I attended and then I ducked out and went home early. I woke up to some texts from my boss today consisting mostly of, how much did you buy? The party is drowning. And finally, there's more in the cabinets? ? And yeah, when I initially dropped everything off, I ran out of space on the counter so I put the rest in the cabinets. I asked a few friends why my boss was freaking out. They started laughing and reminded me that my dad is an alcoholic and I probably should have gotten just 2 drinks per person, because that's way more normal for a work party. Too long did not read. I bought 5 beers per person for a work party and I can only imagine what the result was, but even though I feed up, let's be real. My boss feed up more by asking the non-drinker to buy the alcohol. I'm probably the wrong person for this. Boss, nah, it's fine. Proceeds to be the wrong person for that. IDK, it sounds like you did great. Bet the party was a blast lol xd. You didn't foo, your boss did. You can never have too much beer or firewood. Michael Scott. Is this enough to get 20 people plastered? Clerk. 15 bottles of vodka? Yeah, that should do it. You told the boss you had no frame of reference for this. Not your fault. Oh my god, this could have been me. I always overbuy everything for parties, and as a non-drinker raised in an alcoholic household, I would have thought 5 or 6 drinks per person is sufficient. I might have even worried about running out. Today I fucked up by dropping my kid off at daycare. Today, I royally fucked up. This morning after my normal workout, I realized I had left medically recommended bag of unopened marijuana I bought the previous day out on my dresser. Without thinking I put the bag in my back pocket to take and put up in my lockbox. I continued my morning routine. Got my young son dressed and his lunchbox ready, and loaded us up in the car. Went and dropped him off at daycare and headed to work. An hour later I get a text from the owner of the daycare with a picture of my bag saying I dropped something. It gets worse though. Yesterday, we were awarded a $32K project for their new location. They're my brand new client. Thankfully she seems very understanding and says her husband is a medical patient as well. I haven't stopped cringing since, can't tell my wife or business partners so Reddit it is. Too long did not read. Dropped off kid at daycare, owner, client texts me with picture of found medical marijuana with my name on it. Oof. That's one of the worst places you could drop that. I'm glad she's understanding. Hey, at least it wasn't in your kid's backpack. Tell your wife. The daycare is going to mention it to her, and it's better she hears it from you. Also tell her what changes you're making to ensure it doesn't happen again. At least it wasn't edibles. Not that it's great, but little kids can't do anything to themselves with a bag of flour but a bag of candies. Would make nap time easy at least. Yikes man, that's a huge problem that shouldn't even be an accident. Put that shit up. Why can't you tell your wife? It's medicinal marijuana lol. Today I fucked up breaking into my own house early in the morning to store a bunch of cash. I stayed out of state for a month, working for a guy for cash. When I was done and finally made the long drive home, I got back at 3 a.m. I had been up for roughly 30 hours and I immediately went to bed. A couple of hours later I get a call from the guy that sent me for the work. He had already had my hours tracked and agreed to on my drive home, but he called early ready to give me money. I thought I was dreaming cuz like dude I just got back? But no, he was like, no I'm paying you. I wasn't going to argue, so I got dressed and went downstairs to invite him in quick. Well, he was in his vehicle, so I was like, man, I gotta go out in the snow. So I put on some light shoes and went outside and shut the door behind me, immediately realizing I didn't twist the handle all the way when I opened my door. It won't unlock the handle's lock if you don't fully twist it. Well, now he gets out and we meet halfway between my locked door and his vehicle, and he hands me the type of amount of money that won't let you go back to sleep if you tried, you know. But I'm locked out and too embarrassed to say anything about it. So I'm in the snow, trying to mess with my front door with my phone's flashlight and my old hotel room key in the dark with what I'm hoping to use as a down payment for a house, just sitting in my pocket. Well, the police showed up after 15 minutes. It was easy to prove I lived there, and the one, definitely cooler, cop was laughing and said he never found someone breaking into a house with a large amount of money. They helped me get in through my sliding glass door, which reminded me to immediately deposit the cash when my bank opened, because holy shit, it was easy for them to open that. I don't know which neighbor called the police on me, but they meant well and I know that, and appreciate them tears of joy. Too long did not read. I stayed out of state for a month, and got home when it was dark. Locked myself out while getting paid in the dark, and having the police called on me trying to get in my own place with my money. Why did you show the cops your wad of cash? This sounded like it was heading to a much worse ending. Any story you can later laugh about is a good one. I had to pull the screen off one of our front windows, fight with the window to open it, climb inside without hurting myself to grab the keys, open the front door, go back outside, get back in my vehicle, and drive off. All while a cop sat in front of my house watching me. He saw me come out. He saw me looking for something. He saw me fighting my way to get back into the house and never offered help or asked what the fuck I was doing. Lol. It was hilarious after the fact, but I was a little pissed he didn't offer help when I saw him watching me struggle. This is one reason why deadbolts are so great. It's physically impossible to lock the door from the outside without the key. Sliding glass doors are the easiest way and always put down the bar. This didn't involve the cops, but we had just finished moving all of our stuff into our new house and went across the street to the golf course to have a couple G&Ts and dinner, so we were feeling no pain. Got back to the house and couldn't find the key. So my husband found a ground floor window that he was able to open and got a bucket for me to stand on so I could get through the window. Success. A while later he asked me if that was my handbag still sitting on the hood of the car. Like, who else's would it be? Well, it had a large amount of cash in it, along with the key. Today I fucked up by passing gas at my desk on Valentine's Day. This morning started off lovely. Me and my boyfriend had coffee together with some V-Day fun. After he left my stomach felt off, but I figured it was just my stomach settling from the excitement of being with him. Driving to work my stomach gets progressively more unsettled. It feels like my gut is bubbling and moving fast. I get to the office before any of my coworkers and start to settle into my desk. I start typing my first email and I pass a little gas. But one felt warmer than the others. And I instantly get scared that it might have been more than gas. As soon as I start to stand up, my coworker walks in and says, "Wow, smells like a Barnes & Noble's in here." I'm both mortified but also dying laughing on the inside. I say, "Really? Smells like books or something?" And he says, "Yeah, books and coffee, it's a great smell." I laugh a little and say, "Those are great smells." I make my way to the bathroom and confirm my horror that I did in fact pass more than just gas. I find an excuse to leave the office and run to the nearest Target to get new underwear. But all day, all I can think about is how my coworker thought my chocolate surprise smelled like Barnes & Noble's bookstore. TLR. Don't have coffee and SX on an empty stomach. Don't trust any extra warm gas. Always have spare underwear in your car. Wow, smells like a Barnes & Noble in here. Oh, does it, Greg? Does it smell like books and a little freshly brewed coffee? Well, guess what? I just shat myself. Are you happy now, Greg? You really pried it out of me, huh? God, I am so sick of you. Always coming in here sniffing about, saying what things smell like, and you're so bad at it. Barnes & Noble? What? It's shit, Greg. That's what you're smelling. I farted a particularly sulfurous one at work many years ago that made my cube mate gag, but by the time it reached the next cube it had diluted to such a degree that the lady there loudly exclaimed, How are you cooking eggs? I want some. Which caused my aforementioned cube mate to roar with laughter. There was some theory that bookstores make people have to poop, and a bunch of other people agreed, saying that they always had to go as soon as they walked into a Barnes & Noble. I don't have links because my memory is shit, but I think your coworker knew exactly what he was smelling. Walk into work. Obvious by the smell, coworker has shit herself. Try to play it cool. Wow, smells like a rack's brain. Barnes & Noble. She leaves. Anyone hiring? Lol. What kind of Barnes & Noble is that guy going to? Never trust a fart, my dear. Thanks for making me laugh.